Here's the deal. I need a cat sitter for a couple of nights a week, maybe 3. A few hours each of those nights, maybe between 8 and midnight. The cat's name is Brat. He's not a problem, except he keeps bothering me when I'm working on my laptop. I'm a writer. He seems to be infatuated with the laptop screen. When I lock him in another room, he starts screeching. So that's what I need a cat sitter for. You get it? I'll be at my laptop making a living, and Brat will be entertained by you, hopefully, in another room. Where is your place? I have a loft on the Bowery, just south of Houston. I thought $10 an hour would be fair, and an extra $10 for the cab home. That would come to $50 for the evening. Is that acceptable to you, Miss Nestleton? Usually, I wouldn't consider it immediately acceptable, just on general principle. But times were bad. Are you air-conditioned, Mr. Montag? To the hilt. We have a deal. Good. Tomorrow night? Fine. By the way, I never used a cat sitter before. Am I supposed to provide food for you? I laughed. No, not really. A piece of fruit would be nice, though, and something cold to drink. He gave me the address and said that I should not worry at all about Brat. Except for his laptop fetish, he was a delightful creature. Of course, I had heard such claims before. And that was that with the phone call. I tried to go to sleep. It was a bit difficult. I read some James, but my eyes hurt in the heat. At a little past midnight, I heard the blessed sound of thunder approaching. Louder and louder. I switched off the ceiling fans. The storm hit. Sudden and furious, the heavens opened. Wind and water whipped through my large windows. As quickly as the storm came, it left, and in its wake was silence and cool. I drifted off into sleep. Sometime close to dawn, I woke with an itch on my left leg. At least at first I thought it was an itch, but then I realized it was a bug crawling from my knee down toward my toe. I sat up and leaned forward to swat the intruder. Then I saw to my horror that it was a baby mouse crawling down my leg. I mean a very tiny and very young baby mouse. Now, intellectually, I love and admire all God's creatures, rodents included. But in the real world, I had become deathly afraid of them, like the stereotypical dizzy blonde who screams and climbs up on a chair at the sight of a mouse. It happened very suddenly about 2 years ago. I don't know why. Maybe some complex reaction to aging. What was really interesting about my newly formed mouse fear was that it only became severe when I was alone, or lonely, or feeling abandoned by humans. Anyway, I gave out one of those stereotypical squeaks of horror, half moan, half scream, all embarrassing. It would be hard for anyone hearing such a performance to know that the performer, as a girl, had calmly eaten breakfast every morning in a Minnesota farmhouse, with clearly visible field mice chattering on a nearby kitchen shelf, looking for sugar. The baby mouse dashed off me. Obviously, it now realized I was not its mother. It scooted under the dining room table, where it just stopped, and waited by one of the legs. Crouched on the floor about 5 feet away from the baby mouse was old Poncho. He was crouched real low, like a leopard in the grass. If he still had a tail, no doubt it would have been twitching, for his eyes were focused on the prey under the table. Brave, noble, modest Poncho. He would protect my home and hearth. I winced, realizing I was about to witness the central ritual of the wild, a kill. The baby mouse realized his or her situation. It remained absolutely still under the gaze of that ferocious stalker Poncho. Then the baby mouse made his move toward the closet, where there were enough holes around the perimeter to move a regiment of full-grown mice. Now, I thought, it's going to happen now. I braced myself for the carnage. Poncho didn't move. He just sat there and watched the little mouse disappear. I felt a sudden rage. I screamed at him. "You coward! You